You did that for a Hot Pocket?
Yes. All that for a Hot Pocket.
You broke into a bank for a Hot Pocket?
Hot Pocket.
For a Hot Pocket. Was it worth it?
Hell yeah, it's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it. A Hot Pocket? Hell yeah.
Listen, moms, Hot Pockets are exactly what a hungry boy wants in a snack.
Hot Pockets.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I, as always, am your host, the Ace for Vapor. To my left over there is the lovely talented Footbach, and right down there below me is the Master Blasters, Mazbaz09.
Let's launch a farts. Here, arrows.
Launch.
Cheers. Cheers. Welcome.
I just forgot to say welcome to the Plumes of Hazard. I just said welcome.
They know where they're at.
Yeah.
All three of them that are watching, welcome.
Howdy.
Welcome.
Kind of 4 in chat, okay?
Just remember, if for some reason the connection gets a little choppy or you lose us for a minute, just stand by and stand back, and we'll be back shortly with you. So, okay, very proud of our show. A bunch of boys sitting around.
Are you anticipating a sweet tea incident, or just Ahmed's shitternet going crazy, or
No. Yes.
my OBS blowing up and not having a microphone?
Yes.
Yes. Could be any of these things.
All of them.
CMP.
CMP. So in vaping related news, I got a ping from old John Martin this last week, and he wanted me to come on the new IDLM show.
What?
So I rolled over there and get to hang out with him and
Before I feel left out, let me check my Facebook PMs.
I was probably second choice. I agree.
I'll officially feel left out. I did not get a ping.
Womp womp.
So I got to hang out with old Vic and John, and we talked about vaping, which is kind of weird on a vaping show.
That's weird. Who does that, anyways?
People that are in a country that haven't tried to shut down all vaping. They wanted to know kind of what was going on over here, because just from a normal person perspective. Yeah, I just kind of
what we've been talking about for years is happening.
Was that today?
No, it was Thursday last week.
Oh, okay.
So we did that, and then also we kind of chatted about. Of course, we had the requisite virus talk about what we're doing over here versus what they're doing over there. It seems like they're still pretty hard into the shelter in place, but they're not. Some people are very vocal proponents of it, and other people are like they are here. It's like, I gotta go to work. I got bills to pay. It's time to go back to work. Got to be smart. Got to wash your hands a lot. Stay away from folks. But
Yeah.
Dude, I made a few people pretty uncomfortable this last week. I was at a large meeting in person, and there's a couple of guys that I've known for a long time, and they try to do the bump elbows thing. I'm like, no, man, here's my hand. You're gonna shake my hand because we're both men.
Pound it. I think a pound is the least you do.
Yeah.
Nothing less than a pound.
I would agree. That is minimum. But then you get into the pound elbow handshake thing.
I
right?
understand. I understand people that want to shake hands, but it's just pound. That's it. That's how me and my coworkers have been doing since we pound.
I would rather shake someone's hand and then go wash my hands.
Yeah.
If I need to, then do any of that weird stuff.
Balls, then shake someone's hand.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing is yeah, you should be washing your hands more often anyway. Like that's just a good idea. But I mean, the difference is not that big a deal. Plus, I happen to wear my school ring, which is a sizable chunky thing, and like I feel bad fist pounding folks. Like that's
I
mean,
thought you're
it's,
left-handed there, Flanders.
I am left-handed, but you don't shake your hand with the left hand.
You put out the left then to pound.
I guess
You can cross pound.
you
It's
can
okay.
you can, but then like I don't know about you, but I'm an ambi pounder.
Wow.
Like it depends on where the people are in
Yeah, you're
relation
into
to my
that.
body, right? Like if they're over here, it's a left pound. If they're over here, it's a right pound. Like I'm not gonna if somebody's over here, I'm not gonna or sorry, if somebody's coming from my right side,
Look,
I'm not gonna reach
sometimes-
across myself to pound
Bro,
left.
sometimes have you had to throw across your body before?
Yeah, I suppose, but I'm
All
not
right,
punching people and pounding it.
Boom.
So I had a
Defender
I
in the
had-
face.
I had a COVID test on this weekend, and the doctor that came in, big white dude. I mean, and he walks in, he's like, "What's going on?" And he goes to
Yeah.
pound it, and the dude has like tattoos all the way. I mean, like I could just bet. I mean, just lit up with tattoos. I'm like, am I at the right place?
Right. Did you go to Hollywood Upstairs Medical School too?
I mean, like he had neck tattoos and
No shit.
yeah, and he was I would say he was probably mid 40s, late, early 50s. So, he was a straight up doctor, he was a doctor and
I was
everything.
gonna say,
And
was he the lab tech or was he the doctor?
no, he was a doctor. He was a doctor. So the tech comes in and actually performs the test.
Yeah.
And they said, well, your provider's going to come in, after and talk to you whether you're positive or negative. And yeah, it was this. I mean, this dude was probably like 6'7",
Oh
and
shit.
freaking, fist. I mean, I have big sausage hands, so
Yeah.
they're not gigantic, but they're not small.
Yeah.
And his hands were pretty big.
Yeah.
And so
It always creeps me out when I shake somebody who's got a larger hand than I do, because it doesn't happen that often. But when it does, it's like, oh damn, that's what other people think when they shake my hand.
when you feel the mitt go around, you're like,
Oh,
hey.
Like, if you ever squeeze my hand, I'm biting yours, dude. So, dude, if you ever happened to you before growing up, like, my older
people who
brother would
just-
squeeze my hand, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's, you know what I would do? I'd bite their fucking hand.
And that's so back when I wore an actual like hard ring.
yeah.
I mean, when I was in high school, I had it wasn't my high school ring, but I would just destroy any soft metal rings, whether I was picking stuff up or, I was just never careful, right? So when I got married, I got a tungsten ring, and that was the worst when you would go shake somebody's hand, and you were, using your other hand or something like that, if you were carrying something or something like that, and
Yeah.
they just squeeze the shit out. I'm like, what are you doing? Like you're
Yeah, because
crushing my finger.
that hurts, right?
That does not. Yeah,
yeah.
that does not move.
Right.
So
I
anyways,
actually don't remember the last time I shook a hand.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I mean, there were like maybe 3 or 4 people, but those are like homies.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like even at work, like I've met like all kinds of new people, and it's kind of just like, hi.
Yeah. Hi. Give the COVID wave.
Yeah. Yeah, the COVID wave.
No, and it's funny because some of us are still doing the step towards someone to shake, and we realize, fuck, no, we can't
Yeah.
do that right now.
I've stopped fighting it. Like that is something that matters to me. Like when I greet another dude, that's one thing for a girl. Okay, fine, I can be nice to a girl,
Yeah.
whatever. But when I meet another guy, like you want to give a masculine handshake.
Well, that's the thing. The only new people I've been meeting are at work, so I don't really care about shaking their hand right now. If I'm out and about and being social, like I said, I'm okay with the pound right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can read a pound too. Some people are just fucking reckless with it and punch the shit out of your hand.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, bro, this isn't bloody knuckle. You
Right.
want a bloody knuckle?
Right.
We'll bloody knuckle.
It's not a dare, right? It's not like who can squeeze the
No,
shit
it's
out
just
of
like
somebody else's hand.
You ideally you want to go for minimal impact,
Yeah.
but you want to lock them in so you get that little pop. Like, that's nice.
That's
And
nice.
it's when you get a good. It's when you get a good pop on the handshake.
Yeah.
You can get a good pop on a pound too.
I agree.
Possible.
Yeah, Tim said my father-in-law is like 6'6", 350 with giant ham hock hands. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those
Story
are
time about some mitts.
those are the guys that you definitely don't want to.
Two stories about mitts.
What's that?
2 stories about mitts.
Mitts.
First one's short. NBA store back in the day, they probably still have this. They'd have on display like fucking the official NBA balls with players' hands imprints in them. And Shaq's, yeah. Everyone knows about Shaq's and they've seen pictures of it.
Right.
Fucking insane. In person, 1995, 95 or 96, Houston. Hakeem Olajuwon.
I
was like yay big. He's like
way yay big.
Off frame. Dude, he could have killed me with his hand. He could have just
like wrap fingers around your throat.
Around my face. He could just pick me up. He could just like a fucking claw.
Yeah.
He could have just flung me.
There's that classic Jordan poster, right, with his wings, like a classic wing poster.
You know who had a low key ridiculous wingspan? Dennis Rodman.
Rodman? Is that right?
He was only 6'8".
Yeah.
His arm spanned 7'3" or 7'4".
No shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what gave him that edge as an elite rebounder. Was that he didn't size up to Shaq.
Yeah.
But he was strong and he had some freakishly long arms. And so you think you're coming up for the rebound, right?
Yeah.
I mean, assuming you boxed out Rodman in the first place, which you probably didn't, you're just going to see a long fucking arm come out of nowhere and just snatch that shit out of the air with one hand.
Interesting. I did not know that about Rodman because he always struck me as kind of on the smaller end of the guys.
Charles Barkley as well. His wingspan's not as crazy, but Barkley's only 6'6". Also one of the second baddest rebounder. I think Rodman was the baddest.
Well, he had the aggressive thing going on too, right? Barkley had
Barkley was 6'6" and just he played like a guard kind of.
Yeah, right.
Like no, he was 6'6", but he was he was thick. He was chunky.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a big guy who you wouldn't get scared about having the ball in a fast break because he could move.
Right.
And he had a good handle for a big guy.
Yeah, Festy, that's right. It struck me early that basketball is a lot easier when you can grip the ball like a tennis ball. And that was one of the reasons I was always really bad at basketball. Like I could shoot. Like I could shoot in horse or whatever, but like when I'm playing a game, my hands are big, my fingers are not long.
Dude, look at there's a video of Jordan with a cigar in his mouth throwing a football 60 yards. For starters.
Right.
B, he was like, you think he's 6'6", and that is very tall, but his hands are fucking gigantic.
Yeah,
for someone his height. Go on YouTube and watch just any compilation of his ball fakes.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you see players doing it now or through the net. Like that's, I don't think Jordan was the first to do it. I forget who else has done it. I think Moses Malone did it too, but Jordan just he fooled people so good with it.
He could just redirect the ball at any point in time, right?
Yeah, so that's the thing because he had long arms, right? He's got his defender on him, right?
Yeah.
How many players could take the fucking ball and just hold it back here, out of the defender's reach, right? And then just do some shit like, okay, maybe I'm gonna fake like my guy's cutting down the lane, right? Like toward the rack. I could just go fake him. And he's still holding onto the ball. Right. Fucking defenders goes like this. You know what he does? He just goes, puts up a 3 ball.
Right.
And he was not a threat at the 3-point line when you give him that. And just even down low where he just like fakes a pat, he just does the and because he has such good grip, you can just fucking and you just watch people bite on it. You're just like,
yeah, because you shouldn't be able to do that, right? The ball is moving in an unnatural way.
He was a bad man.
Yeah,
in so many ways, but that in particular was that was like one of my favorite parts about his game. And so you see the dude I'm thinking of, he's playing for the Lakers now, Rajon Rondo. He's a small dude. He's only like 6'1" or 6'2". He's also got gigantic hands, and he does similar types of ball fakes. Not to the same level as Jordan. He's not as athletic as Jordan, but he would always do the ball fake pass like underneath the rim.
Right.
Get the guy to like jump
right
above the fucking backboard, and you just like, oop,
and totally commit,
easy
right?
layup.
Totally committed, and then you're just done. Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard's another guy like that. They call him the Claw, literally. Like
So
one-handed rebounds.
did you guys see that Aaron Bierbert's You Don't Know Nicotine is out? Yeah. So apparently the documentary is out, and let's see, just came out this weekend. Trying to see. It's a live video. Let's see. Maybe not. Okay.
Oh, how could I forget, Magic
So I think they
Johnson?
did a private screening of it. So
Addie's got a couple of links here in chat. Thanks, Addie.
he's gotten some mixed reviews. I know some of the comments said this kind of individual is one that talks a great deal, but the words he chooses communicate very little information. Someone said, I saw the movie. It was amazing. Somebody else said, I can't wait to not be able to see this one too. Because if you remember, there was a lot of controversy over, who was going to be playing it, where, what, how much you had to pay.
When. Yep.
I watched Billion Lives, and I was, I don't know, I was a bit critical of it. I mean, granted, I watched it well after it had come out.
Yeah, because nobody got to see it unless it toured
Well,
the
not even
world on
that,
like
but
film festivals,
any
right?
non-vapor I showed it to, and that was the audience that I'm assuming they were trying to target because,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
At least to the 4 people I showed it to, like 2 of them were family members. They're like, I don't know, they weren't really like sold on it necessarily. Like they said it as outsiders to vaping into the industry, they felt like it was too much of an industry piece.
Which is weird because he definitely targeted that at non-vapors, right?
So just from a PR standpoint, that's not good. Granted, small sample size, but opinions I trust.
Yeah. That not to call back and change the subject back, but there was one guy that was a cab driver of mine. I had him, I don't know, somewhere in Chicago in probably 2005 or so. I got in the car, I got in the cab, and he was shorter than me, so like maybe 6 foot kind of thing. So not a small guy, but definitely not a big guy either. And he was, I believe, if I remember right, he was Indian. I think he was Indian. But when he got in the car, what struck me was he put his hand on top of the steering wheel, right? And at the top of the 12 o'clock position, he hooked, like 2 knuckles on top of the steering wheel, right? With like his first knuckle on top, and then just let his hand lay down. And I'm not kidding. The bottom of his palm was underneath the steering wheel. Like the guy's hands were like that. It was
fucking sideshow Bob driving.
It was total sideshow thing. Like I was just sitting there looking and going, "Holy shit! That guy could palm a medicine ball or something." It's ridiculous. It was the creepiest thing. It was a little alien like, right? It was just slightly out of proportion. Like just a really weird thing that struck me.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like I don't have very large. My fingers aren't like long. I just have I have slapping hands, if you will. I wish I had longer fingers. You know, that thinker would have just.
Oh, interesting. Addie said it was very positive about nicotine, which makes sense. I mean, that's part of the title. But he said Vaping Legion actually apologized to him about the flack they gave him. So I guess it was good because he definitely was. He tried to fence it a little bit, right, with that documentary. It seemed like, at least that I remember.
Yeah.
certainly in his interviews about it, like he was pro vaping as a non-vapor, but like tried to present it kind of neutrally, in my opinion. Like it was not like super pro vaping propaganda, I guess you'd say, like just hyper for it. So that's interesting that Addie's saying that this one is quite positive on nicotine. I mean, that's good. Did I count the knuckles? I did not, Festy. I think he probably had 6. It was very strange, very Slender Man, like alien thing going on.
Nope. Damn it!
You know to wait. Bless you. That sounded wet.
It was a big sneeze.
Hmm.
There was a closer for the Marlins. He closed. I think he pitched for a few other teams that I can't remember. I think the Phillies among them in the 90s and early aughts. Antonio Alfonseca, extra digit on both of his hands.
He did what? Sorry?
He had an extra digit on both of his hands.
What?
An extra finger?
That's pretty awesome. I like most of the time that's pretty vestigial, right? It's not terribly functional.
Well, I never heard of it. I haven't heard of it. It was like the first person I heard of in a while having it on both hands. But I remember there was a famous Sports Illustrated cover where like you see his hands over his baseball glove.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Did he pair up the pinky or something, or did he have a custom glove?
I forget. I forget what his glove stitch was because that was exactly the first thing my mind went to when I first heard about it. But because I forget what his hands look like. Google. I didn't have this in 1990, whatever.
He probably paired it up with another finger.
Antonio Alfonseca glove.
Sorry. Little stuff going on today. So we were. Well, I should probably not talk about
so
that.
it is like another pinky nub.
Yeah, most of the time it seems like that I've seen the folks that have that. It's usually on one hand, and it's usually pretty like a nubby, not a full on additional finger. But I'm sure that does happen. So Festy, you're right.
We have a
polydactylism. So polydactylism is typically found in cats, right? But I don't know if it's the same word to talk about a human. Maybe it makes sense.
So I'm looking at his 2-seam grip. It looks pretty standard, but I'm trying to think of how that changeup would feel.
Yeah,
he threw a changeup. He was a closer. I don't think he threw a changeup. But normally, I can't throw a changeup. I just know how to grip one. I can't throw a decent one, but basically, you throw a fastball out of the front of your fingers, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Right? The point of a changeup is you throw it out of the same motion as your fastball, but you're throwing out of the back
out of your
fingers.
palm, right? Yeah.
More spin, not as much velocity. It throws off a hitter's timing, and a good changeup is one of the prettiest pitches to watch.
Yes.
So yeah, you grip it like that, and it feels so fucking weird to use your pinky to grip something. And he's got an extra little bit there, so if anything, it could give you extra leverage. I don't know. I never had I don't have a 6-digit to test.
But you would think it would help a little on the grip, right? And it may, depending on how formed it was, you'd think it'd probably help on his knuckleball too if he had a knuckleball.
Well, it's not long enough to be of any consequence. He's not gripping with his fingertip. It's more so like it's anchoring his pinky somewhat. So I think like on a changeup, that's the only pitch I could feasibly see it helping if it helps.
Gotcha.
So otherwise, yeah, it's just like, hey, here's my fastball and here's my photobombing pinky.
Yeah. I haven't watched enough X-Files. I watched all the X-Files back in the day. But it's been a really long time.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Through the Black Oil, like I watched all of them.
Eugene Toombs. Remember Toombs? I think he was the guy that could basically make like a rodent and slip between vents and shit. I think. He was one of like the creepier characters in X-Files. There was like more than one episode with him, I believe.
Yeah. The one that I remember was the one that's kind of like oh god, what was it? It was like the pair of kids that had like their mother on a little trolley or something that they kept in their basement. That thing was creepy.
Yes. Okay. That is one of the most fucked up episodes. In fact, that is like one of the most famous episodes. It's called Home.
Home. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember that one too. I remember being scarred by it a little bit.
How do you think I was young as fuck. That shit fuck with me for like 2 or 3 nights. Yeah. And I was like, that like I hadn't watched X-Files for like a couple weeks after that. Straight up.
Yeah.
Because they took that shit from like a 50 to 110.
Yeah.
In terms
out of nowhere.
And that was like season 2 or 3, I believe.
It was well established.
And that's funny because looking back, because that was during my childhood, and I'm reading all this shit after the fact, and I'm like, yeah, it's like one of the most famous episodes of the show. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
There was an episode with the guy from Monk in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember that,
mm-hmm.
He was the one who had to be around soft light because his shadow, if he cast a shadow with any other kind of light and you stepped in his shadow, you like went to the fuck zone or something.
I was gonna say that's a good way to put it. Yeah, he did. You
fuck zone, the shadow realm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that one. And then in that episode, sorry, it's over 20 years ago, so spoilers. That badass black dude that bails him out every so often. Remember, he fucks him. Remember, he takes him and then he ends up like using him for experiments and shit. I think that may have been the last we saw of that guy because Mulder was not happy with that.
I don't know one geeky kid that didn't have at least some amount of a crush on Scully. Smart, pretty, awesome. She's great. Tony Shalhoub, thank you, Festy. That's right.
Tony Shalhoub, that's right. I was trying to think of his name too. I'm like,
he's got a great
name.
Yeah, Monk. That wasn't a bad show either that I seem to remember.
That thing ran for a lot of seasons too.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
No, I can't with Monk. I watch it here and there, but I don't think I like watched it in its entirety.
It was also in Men in Black. Tony Shalhoub's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
He's been around for a while. I think Monk was like his break.
Well, he was on. What was the first thing he saw? Was it Wings? Is that right?
Yes.
If I remember right. I think that's the first time I saw him.
I think he was in an episode of Frasier.
Maybe.
I think he was in Frasier.
Probably the right time frame anyway. If him trying to break out.
Dude, did I tell you my niece and nephew like Frasier?
Your niece and nephew do, really?
Yeah. I mean, I watched it with my older brother, their dad growing up. Like I watched it with him, but I'm surprised they like it.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a show that they would fit the age range.
No, I mean, it could, but I was just surprised relative to the other stuff they watch.
Yeah.
So I was like, So it's just strange. They're all eating dinner and watching Frasier together.
It's
all right.
That's really weird.
But they don't really like Seinfeld. So I was just like, damn. Because I like Frasier too, but I also love Seinfeld.
Right. But you're also
like
not
that
tiny.
scene where Frasier gives that speech in Klingon at the bar mitzvah because he thought it was Hebrew. Like that shit is just priceless. It's not gibberish. It's Klingon. The one fucking nerdy kid there.
That is funny.
Wow. So I just saw a picture of someone who probably be given understudy a run for their money. There you go in chat.
I mean, understudy's money runs away from him to like Apple and Funko Pop.
Oh, damn.
That's a lot of Legos.
That is a lot of
Legos. He calls it the brick station.
The brick station?
And then he's got like figurines that are, look, he's got the Batman car. Maybe we can show this to understudy and get him to build his car quicker.
Here's where he loses.
He's got the Batman car.
Here's where he loses points in the room. He has a Dell tower.
Yeah, I did not say that. Agreed.
On all those Legos.
Dude, he's got the whole Harry Potter castle going on.
That's great. Can't build a PC. He can build all his Legos. He can't build a fucking PC.
Well, yeah, he definitely didn't build it.
Boo earned.
I'm trying to pull it up for chat because we're talking about something that they can't see.
Yeah.
He doesn't use that scanner on his desk.
Nope. It's got Lady Liberty on it.
There we go.
But
you see that Miami floor mat?
I do.
Coming now. Screen share.
Explain, Master Blasty, why he no build computer.
Yep, that's a Miami Heat format. Huh. I think the shapes are the different little peeps. But yeah, he's got the both Batman cars, Batmobiles up there.
Yeah.
The old school and the new.
I zoomed in on the Dell right now.
It looks like an old school Dell.
I'm having a hard time getting past his lack of a custom PC in that room.
Doesn't that look like a Dell XPS though?
It does.
It might be. He
was that kid in high school.
Yeah, well,
that
it might
kid
be
in high school trying to hang with us nerds whose parents who had all the fucking money, so his parents got him an XPS.
It might be work issued. You never know. So,
all I'm saying is you spend all the time building them Legos. Build yourself a goddamn PC.
Right.
Right. True.
You could do that while you're doing the Legos. It takes that little time.
Yeah.
It's a nice case. I would retrofit the shit out of that case.
Now, see, that would be kind of entertaining, right? Use that as parts. If you can get a bigger power supply in it and stuff.
No, so there are a lot of people who retrofit the Optiplex SFF cases.
Yeah.
The problem is Dell, they're cunts, and they put their standoffs in very strange spots. So you have to,
Yes, they do, and I believe with a lot of the Optiplexes was the whole clamshell style, and folding hard drives onto stuff and
right
all that.
Yeah, I think you can. I've seen a few builds. It just looks like too much. I've seen really awful retrofits where there was a lot of sloppy. It looked like Goss did it.
Wow, it's pretty bad.
No, straight up, there was a dude who dremeled off a channel in the side door because his video card was too wide.
Yikes!
Here, I just zoomed up a little bit.
It was bad. Eric D sent me a bunch of bad ones, but there were some really good ones because they knew how to do it, what would fit in there.
Some weird. Is that a power switch down at the bottom? It's got kind of a weird lip on the bottom, like an underbite.
It's probably air intake.
Yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's their cases are there's a little thing, so it's angled upward.
Yeah.
Go look at the Batmobiles while I'm zoomed in. Well, I just realized that you can see the reflection of the room in the TV, but you can't see the person taking the picture.
Really?
Yeah.
It's probably because it's angled.
Yeah. No, wait. I just did the wrong thing. There, that's better. Since we're talking about X-Files.
I wonder if yeah, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Because it looks pretty straight.
He's probably, that little black mark that you see there towards the bottom of the Samsung sign on that TV is probably his head. I'm wondering if he was sitting down on something when he took it, and that TV is angled up a little bit because you could see shelves behind it. So,
well, yeah, he was sitting on the couch. That's a sectional he's sitting on. Boom.
Yeah, there you go.
Does that white box on top actually have an antenna sticking up? Oh, I didn't see that.
A sectional white box on top. Where, on top right?
Yeah.
No, he's holding a sword. That looks like a transformer.
So here's the thing: that shelf has legs on it. Actually,
no, he's talking about the box on top of the tower.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this room as a whole, and I'm just I would not want to go to my computer when I'm drunk in this room. Someone's gonna get knocked it over.
Somebody is
Well,
definitely
so
gonna break something.
here's the thing. I don't know how it is in your house, but man, if I had something like this in a room, dude, fuck cleaning all those little crevices. There's so much dust. I get dust on the top of my desk from 4 days of not cleaning it.
Yeah.
Like
Like
2 things I know this guy doesn't have.
dogs, cats,
Kids.
fucking animals,
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, like unless you keep this door closed, even still, like I don't know, I get dust,
No,
from something sitting for a week, So my thing is, could you imagine with having okay, so insert curio cabinet, fucking joke here, going old school, but like that's the only way you could keep something like that without. I don't know, especially Legos.
Yeah,
Legos,
you know what you would have to do? Because anyone who's worked in fucking had a closed in retail knows what to do. You had to clear each fucking shelf and wipe. You want to take that shit home and do that too? Because that guy's gonna have to get a fold up table.
Yeah.
Take all that shit down.
Yeah,
in
but
sequence, you gotta put that down in sequence.
But
get a Swiffer, wipe that shit, put everything back.
Yeah, but even with the Swiffers, dude, those Legos, they're not perfectly flat. So you got dirt all up in that and dust.
Air dust and hope you don't blow pieces off, I guess, right?
Mm.
Yeah, that's true.
You can always super glue them.
True.
What are you, a pussy?
might make cleaning them easier though.
When it falls off the table, I want it not to fall apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm glad I'm not that deep into a hobby where it's like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the that's a lot of just small crevices everywhere. I mean, at least the smaller pieces he's got inside of those things, but
yeah, even Fabuloso looks at that and is like, nah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I legit saw someone walk out of. They had like the 2-pack of Fabuloso at Costco.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw this giant family walking out with it, and they had a cart just filled with Fabuloso, like the 2-pack cases. I was like, damn.
Somebody must do that shit for a living.
I think it was like 3 families literally shopping together on one card.
Maybe some of that too.
I mean,
that's a lot of Fabuloso though.
Yep.
I share my Costco card with like there's 2 other people.
Do they give you shit when they come through, or do they all have their own cards?
No, so on our account it's just me and my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Both of my brothers could pass as me.
Okay.
So, like my older brother, before I turned 21, whose license that I have when I went out. So it's all like some pay it forward shit, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. The only reason I ask is because like when my folks come into town, occasionally my mom will make a Costco run, and take my card.
They wouldn't hassle a person like your mother.
They did. They did. Yeah, they did. They said they wouldn't let her come through and check out. She's like, "This is my son. I'm in town."
What a bunch of fucking Boy Scouts.
It was pretty bad. I was pretty pissed. I was like, dude, my mom's trying to do me a solid and go on a Costco run.
Your mom's like the one white person at the airport that gets searched to make it look like the playing field's level.
Yeah. She got singled out for to balance the scales.
That's so foul.
It was pretty bad.
Your mom should have taken one of her preserves jars and just fucking smashed it over their head and be like, bitch.
Yeah. But if you knew my mom, she wouldn't.
And then
you
know what you would have done? Like,
oh, really? I just
Costco employees just sitting there with like blood all over their scalp and like all over their head and preserve. And she's like this. She's like,
tastes like victory. I was trying to think about my little mother.
I don't know. I
in that situation
just painted this ridiculous picture of your mother.
It's brilliant. I love it. Just because it's so wrong.
I hope you tell her. I hope you tell her.
I'll link her the show. I'll look at the show. She would be entertained. Oh man.
I mean, do you want to show her? I use some foul language there.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
she'll forgive you. Yeah.
I got to add some gangster things to things, you know.
Right. No, I appreciate it. That's for sure. All right, that's all I've got to this week.
Actually, your mom would get mad because I would insinuate that she would do that with a jar of her own shit.
Yeah. Like, you know how much work that was? I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste it.
Roll with me, Ma.
Yeah. So Understudy wasn't here this week, so it was less video game talk, more sports ball. Hopefully that was okay with everybody because I enjoyed it. It was fun to
talked
be
about
here.
hands. We talked a lot about hands.
Yeah, we had a lot about hands. Thank you, chat. I appreciate you guys coming out for sure. Every single time you guys come out, I love it. Love hanging out with you guys and shooting a little bit of shit to break up our week. Thanks for coming.
I loved it. We ended on Anksy's mom committing violence.
Perfect ending.
I like it.
Makes
really
sense.
Mixing shit up.
Totally in character, I'm sure. Bye, everybody. See you soon. Later next week. Bye.